So again, we're back for the ideas of the next school. And this is about active and reflective learning. Now, I think this is incredibly important. And we need to, if we're going to ask our students as the Catholic graduate expectations say to be, lifelong, self-directed lifelong learners, I think we need to do that as well. And so one of the great ways, and this is new to me, and this is new to a lot of people, but the of blogging. Now, blogging isn't new. It's a pretty established form, but it's really new for the education field, and it's something that's really starting to take off. And I think it's really taking off in a positive and amazing way in the TCDSB. So, blogging, again, for those who don't know, and I didn't know this until quite recently, that blogging, what that really means is web log. It's just a web log, and it's become, the reason that it wasn't as popular as it's become in the last little while is it's become incredibly simple, and it's become free. So I'm just going to show you what I do, and this is just an example, but there's different ways that you can do it. I use what's called WordPress, and you can sign up for free. All you need is an email address, and you can get going. And it's very, very basic. I have purposely not made it all that complicated because I don't want something that other people couldn't emulate if they wanted to. So I got it in here. Mine's called Teaching NeXt, so it's just teachingnext at .wordpress.com. And you can create, what I do here is I try to put stuff that I'm doing. I'm going to use it a lot more when I'm in the principal role, and it can be the place where you put your learning. It does two things for me. One, it makes it public, and I'm sharing my ideas with people, and people who follow me are able to see things. But what it also does is it really archives stuff for me. So as I think of things, as I work on things, as I reflect on things, if I see a video, for instance, that I really, really like, I'll blog about it. Here's a great example. I'm addicted to TED Talks. So I put the TED Talk in here, and then I reflect on it. But gone are those days where I would say, hey, do you remember that great TED Talk or whatever? And I can't find it. I can't remember who the title of it was. All I got to do is look it up in here. A couple tips for you. You can set it up any way you want. You can see here that I have my Twitter feed on here. And you can see the different tweets that I'm sending out. So there's a history there that people can see. There's some organization. There's a little bit of links here. Great blogs to follow that I follow, and you should too. So there's some great blogs here. So someone who comes to find my blog can find a bunch of other places. These are people from our board for the most part, and then here are some links to some outside other blogs. These are blogs that are actually all WordPress blogs, and then here are some outside ones as well. So just a bunch of different things here, but here's what I would add to it. Here's a few things that I would say to you. One, and something I never did before, you should really use your tags. There's two things, tags and categories. So for what you can see here is, here's my categories. So I've basically set up some categories that are pretty generalized, but if I want to look back, and as I'm doing my blog, I'll indicate, okay, what is this about? Well, this is about instructional leadership. So I can click on this, and what it will do is take me to all of my blogs that I've indicated are talking about instructional leadership. So I can talk about active reflective learning, the next school, visible assured. Then if I go down here, I have another one that's called the next school. So for the projects that I'm working on. So just those that are just about that. I've got a couple in here because I just started them. What this does, it allows me to keep my ideas together, keep my work together. I'm going to put everything I do up on here. The other thing is tags will allow me to do that as well. So if someone's looking through it and they want to see stuff that I've talked about, professional development. So it's not as specific, but anything to do with professional development, they click on that, and here's my tag archive on professional development. Here's everything that I've ever written and published online about professional development, or 21C and AICT. There's that. WordPress does a cool thing. When they show their tags, the larger tags are the ones that have the most. So as you do more in, I don't have a lot of, for instance, skilled communication. I think I've done one on skilled communication. So it's there. So there's not as many. And as you do more, it gets larger and larger. But someone can find that. So if someone's talking about, what do you think about professional development? I can say, well, go to my blog and follow my tag. Or I can access that and do stuff with it. Really, it doesn't need to be anything more than that. You can make it look like a web page, as I started to do a little bit here. There's some video tutorials in here. There's some of the infographics that I like. Again, I want to keep them somewhere. I don't want to save them on my computer somewhere and not have to I can just throw them up there. People can use them as I find them. Again, I'm finding most of the stuff through Twitter anyway. There's lots of stuff here, but really what I think the best part about it is this blog that's just saying, here's my learning. So I'm showing you that I'm learning, and I'm sharing it with everybody else. The great thing about it too is that people can comment on that learning at the end of it. So someone's following it, they can read it and comment on it, and I get an email that says so and so has left a comment, and then we can start a conversation about it. They can add things to it. Um, I really don't think there's a more important section than visible and shared learning in the NeXt school. Um, we're too busy. Teachers are far too busy, and administration is far too busy to take a lot of time for PD that isn't instantaneous, that isn't, let's get out of the school. Those are great, but you can only do so many of those, and they're very expensive, and it takes time. You need time outside of the classroom, outside of the school. This is the way to share ideas. So every time that I'm going to go out to an event or I'm going out to an in-service, I'm going to blog about it. My staff can read about it. They can see what I'm doing. They can always access it. I can always go back and access stuff that I've seen that I found interesting, that I had, that I gained something from. Again, like I said before, I'm a TED junkie. I'm always watching TED videos, always looking for the newest and best one. I can reflect on them in there, so I have my ideas down, and I have them anytime I want to go see them again. The good thing about this too is as I'm creating it, I can tweet out as soon as I'm finished publishing it. I can just say that I've linked this to my Twitter account, so I can say I've got a new post, here it is, send it out, and then that's how I get followers. I really like the idea of it. I really like WordPress. I find it really simple, but there's lots of different versions of it. There's a Google blog, there's blogs, there's a whole bunch of different things that you could use, and there's different ways to manipulate it. But I would just say that anything that you can do to start getting to that would be fantastic. You can just see what that does do, though, is these are the blogs that I follow, so it gives me a reader. So these are blogs that other people have published. So when I log in, I can see that this is one from Kevin Kerr, an amazing blogger, who's the new e-learning coordinator for the board. I can see what they've done. I see there's one from Luke McPherson, some teachers in the board, design thinking. There's lots of stuff here, so I can follow other people and see what they're doing. I imagine there's one from Roy Fernandez. What a great work we can do, and I can see what other people are doing. We can share ideas, we can share things. It can be very, very visible, very visual, very interactive. So some amazing stuff here. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of WordPress just because I found it very simple. And the great thing about it, absolutely free. So you can do lots of things with this. Another tool, if you're thinking about the NeXt school,